How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. I want to talk to you today about how I paid off my mortgage by 25 years old. Now, there's going to be a little asterisk to this. My situation is probably going to be a little bit different than everyone else that wants to pay their mortgage off early, but I want to talk to you about what I did, why I had to do it, what are the pros and cons to paying off your mortgage early, because this was not something that I necessarily wanted to do, but it's something that I needed to do. And I want to kind of talk to you about some other alternatives also if you're looking either at paying off your mortgage early versus investing. So with this, if you guys don't mind just hitting the like button, I really appreciate that. We don't have a sponsor or anything like that, but if you guys want, you can get 2 free stocks from WeBull. Just deposit $100. There is a link down below. It's worth up to $1,850. So let's get into it here. I have a little bit of a different story than a lot of people that have paid off their mortgage early. I was working my W-2 job, and I was working on YouTube at the same time. YouTube started to really take off, and I had to make a judgment call whether to stay at my job for a couple more months to try to get a mortgage, to try to find a house. I had been looking at houses for a while, but it would take probably 3 months to get the mortgage approved and actually be able to go through the home buying process. But I didn't want to wait that long because YouTube was starting to grow very quickly, and I really wanted to spend more time on YouTube. So I decided to quit my W-2 job, and I worked for myself, which was great. I made a good amount of money. I could set my own hours. The problem is, though, at least here in America, how it is now, you really can't get a loan for a large amount, like for a mortgage, if you don't have W-2 income or 2 years of business tax returns. Now, I didn't even have 1 year business tax returns. I had just started making money about 4 months before this, and it was about midway through the year, so I couldn't get a mortgage. However, I kept on saving up. I started to make more and more money, and I actually bought my house for cash just recently. We're just closing here in a couple weeks, but everything's signed beforehand. Now, I want to look at the pros and cons of paying for a house in cash, but more paying off your mortgage early, because I think that's going to be more relevant to a lot of people. Now, I do want to say that there are going to be people that give me a hard time, I think probably because I am very fortunate to be able to pay for a house like this at 25 years old. I'm not complaining about that by any means. I'm just trying to look at what would make the most sense financially. Would you rather pay off your home early or put in other investments? What are some of the pros and cons to it today? I do want to say one place that I put the money before I bought the house to gain better interest, because I had to keep the money somewhere and I didn't want to invest it and then pull it back out because the market can be volatile. So what I did was I put it in stablecoin in BlockFi. So in case you're interested, BlockFi pays up to 9.3% on some of your stablecoin. And I have to say, with Bitcoin flirting right around 60,000 at all-time highs, now might be a good time to take a look at this. I have a good amount of money in here. They just did a new round of funding valuing BlockFi at about $3 billion. So definitely check it out. They pay interest every single month. This is just this month's interest so far. So definitely check that out down below. So what are some of the pros of paying off your mortgage early? Well, for me, at a closing price of about $240,000, my mortgage would be about $192,000. Now, over 30 years, this would equate to about $810 per month. So that can save me a significant amount of money over time. That would save me about $100,000 if I paid it off right before I even had the mortgage. Now, of course, it's going to be different depending on if you're just paying it off early and how early you pay it off, but you would save money on interest. This is a guaranteed rate of return, which is something that's very nice. I will put an asterisk next to it though, because let's say you got a mortgage 2 years ago and you got it at a 5% interest rate. You could actually say at the time that was a 5% rate of return guaranteed. However, you could have refinanced it and gotten about a 2.5% this last year, and then your rate of return would have actually decreased to about 2.5%. Now, it does cost a little bit of money to refinance your home, but that is something that you could have looked at. Now, another great thing about paying off your mortgage early is you need a lower income. And that might sound a little bit weird, but you get tax benefits for making less income. So that's why some people pay off their mortgage before retirement, because they can naturally pull less money out of different investments, and then they don't have to pay as high a tax rate. So that is something to consider. Now, I'm not going to make less money on purpose or withdraw less money or anything like that. I'm not going to have less taxable income because of this, because I'm not close to the point where I would need to retire and try to lower my taxable income. For me, I'm trying to lower my taxable income, but I'm trying to make as much as possible still. And then the last pro is just peace of mind. So not having to worry about a mortgage, not having to worry about an $800 payment every single month for the next 30 years. There's something to be said for that. If my fiance or myself, if we lose our jobs or decrease in income, I guess this is my job. So in case my income decreases, that's not something I have to worry about. I don't have to worry about the bank coming to take the home, which I think there should be something to be said for that. Now, some of the cons. This is a much lower rate of return than alternatives. For example, BlockFi, if I put the $192,000 in, so I put the 20% towards the down payment, but then I kept the $192,000 for the rest of it, would pay me about $17.9 thousand if I put it in USDC. Now, this is a big difference, right? So I could be getting $1,492 a month from something like BlockFi or an equivalent investment, which would be $682 on top of the mortgage. So I could pay the mortgage and then get about $700 a month in passive income, which could be big. Now, this is taxable, so take that into account, but that is a huge difference. The other con is there's a lot less liquidity with the money in the mortgage, right? So I can't draw on this. Now, of course, you could get a home equity line of credit, but in my situation, I can't yet because I can't get a loan. For other people, they might be able to get that, but it still is a little bit more work than, withdrawing it straight from your bank account, or, there are some interest rates that go along with that. If the interest rates go up over the next couple of years, the HELOC rate will be higher, so that's something to take into account. Now, there are a handful of different ways to pay off your mortgage early. One thing you can do is make one extra payment a year. Another thing you can do is just round it up. So if you're paying, let's say, $852, you can just round it up to $900. There are a bunch of different little tricks like that where you can actually pay a little bit more, pay off your mortgage a couple of years early. Definitely something that you can take a look at. You can definitely Google that. I will say too, if you're interested in starting up on YouTube, I do have a course. I have a link down to my course down below. You can check this out. I have a few hours worth of content, everything from how to figure out the topic of your channel to equipment to use to how to structure your content, how to monetize, tips and tricks to grow faster, and miscellaneous questions. I really want to make this a great opportunity for everyone to learn. And this is something where I'm literally asking my students to see what they still have questions on after the course is done, because I want to make this a great experience for everyone involved. So if you're interested in that, you can check that out. There is that link down below to BlockFi too, in case you're interested in that. Definitely check it out. I want to hear what you guys think about this. Should you pay off your mortgage early? Do you think that's smart? Where do you think the interest rate should be before you start paying it off? Should interest rates be at 4%, 5%, 6%? Should you never pay it off? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.